The rain had been falling for hours, thick, silver sheets slanting through the neon haze of the city. The kind of rain that erased edges, softened sounds, and made the world feel smaller than it really was. I was already soaked, collar turned up, hands buried in my coat pockets as I cut through an alley I'd used 1,000 times before. That was when I saw her. She stood beneath a broken streetlight, its flicker stuttering like a failing heartbeat.
Small.
Slender. Blue-skinned in a way that didn't belong to any human medical condition. Her clothes clung to her, soaked and trembling, woven from materials I'd never seen, threads that shimmered faintly, like they remembered another sky. She was crying, not loudly, just silent tears slipping down her cheeks, dissolving into the rain. She looked lost in the way only children ever truly do, like the world had suddenly become too big and too cruel to understand. I slowed, uneasy. This city was full of strange things, but this was different. Then she looked up at me. Her eyes widened, vast, luminous, and glowing faintly gold beneath the rain-smeared light. Her lips parted, trembling. "Father," she whispered. The word hit me harder than any fist. I stopped completely. "Hey, no. I'm sorry, kid. I think you've got the wrong." She ran to me. Before I could react, she collided with my chest, arms wrapping around me with desperate strength. Her hands shook as they gripped my coat like it was the last solid thing in the universe. "You came back," she sobbed, burying her face against me. "I knew you would. They said you wouldn't, but I knew." People walked past the mouth of the alley. No one slowed. No one noticed. The rain swallowed everything. I stood there, frozen, heart hammering. "I'm not your father," I said softly, unsure whether she even understood my language. "You're mistaken." She pulled back just enough to look at me again, rain streaking her lashes. Her gaze searched my face with terrifying intensity, like she was looking for proof that reality hadn't betrayed her. "You sound like him," she said. "Your voice that's older, but it's you. You promised you'd find me." Something twisted in my chest. "What's your name?" I asked. "Lyrian," she replied. "What's wrong with you? Why are you pretending?" I swallowed. "Because I'm not who you think I am." Her expression cracked. Not shattered, cracked. Like fragile glass under too much pressure. "You don't remember," she whispered. "They erased you, didn't they?" "I promise you," I said carefully, kneeling so we were eye level. "I've never met you before." The rain pattered between us. Her pupils narrowed, shimmering strangely, as if her eyes were reacting to emotions too big for her body. Then she did something that made my blood run cold. She reached up and pressed 2 fingers to my temple. The alley vanished. For a moment I was nowhere and everywhere. I saw stars I couldn't name. Vast rings of light encircling a blue-white sun. Towers grown rather than built, spiraling like living coral into the sky. I saw myself, another version of me, older, scarred, wearing armor etched with alien glyphs. Holding her, not in the rain, but beneath a sky of violet fire. "I'll come back for you," that other me said. "No matter what it costs." The vision shattered. I gasped, stumbling backward as the alley slammed back into existence. My heart thundered like it was trying to escape my ribs. Lyrian swayed, exhausted, nearly collapsing. I caught her before she hit the ground. "You're not pretending," she whispered weakly. "They really broke you." What was that?" I breathed. "Memory resonance," she said faintly. "You taught me. Before they took you." I stared at her, rain dripping from my hair, mind spiraling. I had never left Earth, never traveled the stars, never had a child, alien or otherwise. And yet, I could still feel the echo of that promise burning behind my eyes. I couldn't leave her there. That's how it started. I brought her back to my apartment, a cramped unit above a closed noodle shop. She eyed everything with wary fascination: the flickering light, the hum of old wiring, the cracked window where rain streaked down like tears. "This world smells wrong," she said softly. "You'll get used to it," I replied, handing her a towel. "Sit, please." She obeyed, curling up on the couch with inhuman grace. Even soaked and shivering, there was something otherworldly about her. Her ears tapered slightly, her fingers longer than normal, joints too smooth. She watched me constantly, like she was afraid I might vanish. "Tell me about him," I said gently. "Your father, the one you think I am." She hugged her knees to her chest. "He came from the sky, from nowhere. He wasn't born to my people, but he loved me anyway. He taught me stories about small worlds with heavy gravity, about rain that tasted like metal." I stiffened. "That's Earth rain," I muttered. She nodded. "You used to laugh when I said that." My throat tightened. "They took him," she continued. "The concordance. They said a human mind couldn't be allowed to carry what he knew. He resisted. So they erased him and sent him back." "Sent him back? To Earth?" I asked. She looked up. "Where else?" Sleep came late that night. I lay awake listening to the rain, staring at the ceiling, while Lyrian slept curled on the floor beside my bed, as if she needed to know I was still there. Every time I closed my eyes, fragments surfaced: alien constellations, unfamiliar words on my tongue, the weight of a small body in my arms. By morning, I knew one thing for certain. Someone had stolen a life from me, and they'd left a child behind. The concordance found us 3 days later. They came quietly, no explosions, no dramatic invasions. Just a distortion in the air and 3 tall figures stepping into my living room like they owned reality itself. Their bodies were wrapped in flowing black constructs that shifted like liquid shadow. Their faces, if they had faces, were hidden behind smooth, mirrored masks. Human designation 7A Theta, one of them intoned. "You have been located," Lyrian screamed. She ran to me, clutching my arm with desperate force. "They're lying. Don't listen to them. We are not here for the child," another said. "She is an unfortunate remainder." I felt something wake up inside me. Old instincts. Buried reflexes. "You erased me," I said, my voice steady in a way that surprised even me. "Didn't you?" Silence stretched. "You exceeded your authorized function," the first replied. "Emotional contamination compromised your usefulness." "I was useful because I cared," I snapped. "You couldn't control that." Lyrian looked up at me, hope blazing in her eyes. "You remember," she whispered. "Enough," the concordance agent said. "The child must be returned to her world. You will submit for final memory stabilization." "No," I said. The word felt right. I stepped in front of Lyrian without thinking. "I promised her," I continued. "Even if you took it from me, the promise still stands." For the first time, the agents hesitated. "You cannot protect her," one warned. "You are human." I smiled, slow, dangerous. "You'd be surprised how much damage a human can do when you give him a reason." The fight that followed wasn't clean, but it was mine. Memories surged back in fragments, training strategy, how to twist their own tech against them. The apartment burned. Reality screamed. When it was over, the concordance lay shattered, their forms dissolving into nothing. I collapsed to my knees. Lyrian knelt beside me, pressing her forehead to mine. "You came back," she said again. This time, it wasn't a question. We didn't stay on Earth long after that. The stars called my stars. A ship hidden beneath layers of forgotten memory responded to my voice like an old friend. As we lifted into the night, rain still falling below us, I looked at Lyrian seated beside me, her eyes reflecting galaxies. "I'm sorry I forgot," I said quietly. She took my hand. "You remembered when it mattered," she replied. "That's what fathers do." The universe stretched open before us. And this time, I wasn't leaving her behind. The ship broke through Earth's atmosphere without resistance, gliding upward through the rain clouds like a memory finally allowed to surface. Lightning flashed far below us, briefly illuminating the city I had lived in for years, small, fragile, and utterly unaware of what had just slipped its grasp. Lyrian sat silently beside me in the cockpit, knees tucked under her chin, fingers resting lightly on the armrest as if afraid the stars might vanish if she moved too suddenly. The ship responded to her presence almost as much as it did to mine, lights brightening, systems humming with quiet approval. "You built this for us," she said at last. "I don't remember building it," I replied honestly. "But yeah, I think I did." She smiled faintly. "You always said memory wasn't what made something real. Choice was." The stars stretched into luminous ribbons as we entered faster than light travel. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then she asked the question I knew was coming. "Are you going to leave again?" I turned to her, really looking this time, not as a mystery, not as a responsibility, but as a child who had crossed galaxies alone because she believed in a promise. "No," I said. "Not this time. Not ever." Her shoulders sagged in relief, like she'd been holding herself together through sheer will. She leaned against my arm, careful at first, then fully, trusting her weight to me. "I used to rehearse what I'd say if I ever found you again," she murmured. "But now I can't remember any of it." "That's okay," I said quietly. "We'll make new words." The journey to her world took days. Not Earth days, real ones. The kind that make you feel distance in your bones. Along the way, fragments of my past continued to return. Not in neat lines or perfect clarity, but in sensations. How to calibrate shields by sound alone. How to read a star's mood by the way its light bent. How to braid her hair the way she liked when storms rattled the sky. Sometimes I'd catch her watching me, when she thought I wasn't looking, as if checking whether I was still solid, still real. On the fourth cycle, she finally asked, "When we get there, what if they don't accept you?" "Then we don't stay," I said without hesitation. "We go somewhere new." Her eyes widened. "Just like that. Just like that." She smiled, wide, bright, and unmistakably relieved. Her world emerged from hyperspace like a living jewel. Oceans of liquid light curved around bioluminescent continents. Vast structures rose from the surface, grown, not built, branching towers that sang softly as the wind passed through them. The sky shimmered in layers of color that shifted with emotion, responding to the presence of returning blood. Lyrian pressed her face to the viewport, breath catching. "I thought I'd never see it again," she whispered. We were met by ships, sleek, organic, alert. But they did not attack. Instead, a single voice echoed through the comms. "Lyrian of the third bloom," it said, trembling with disbelief. "You live." She straightened, suddenly every inch the daughter of this world. "I have returned," she replied. "And I did not come alone." We landed in the heart of the capital, where elders gathered beneath canopies of living crystal. They looked at me with expressions ranging from awe to fear to barely concealed resentment. "He is the anomaly," one of them said. "The outsider who disrupted our fate. He is the one who saved me," Lyrian said firmly, stepping in front of me the way I had once stepped in front of her. "And he is my father." The word echoed across the plaza. Silence followed. At last, the eldest among them inclined her head. Then our debt is greater than we feared. They offered me restoration. A complete return of everything the concordance had taken, every memory, every skill, every scar. I refused. What they stole made me who I was, I said. But what I chose after matters more. Instead, I asked for asylum.
For peace. For time.
And, reluctantly, they granted it. Years passed. Real ones this time. I learned the rhythms of her world. Helped rebuild what the concordance had damaged. Taught Lyrian Earth stories she loved, about rain, about stubborn humans, about promises that survived impossible distances. She grew, not just taller, but stronger, wiser, less afraid. One evening, as twin suns dipped below the horizon, she sat beside me on a high balcony, overlooking the living sea. "Do you ever miss Earth?" she asked. I thought about the rain, the alley, the man I used to be. Sometimes, I admitted, but I don't miss being lost. She nodded, then leaned her head against my shoulder. You know, even if you hadn't remembered anything at all, I think I still would have found you. I smiled, resting my hand over hers. Yeah, I said. I think you would have. Above us, the stars turned slowly, vast, patient witnesses to a promise kept not by memory, but by choice. And this time, I stayed.